Right, okay, we're at Pepper Lane Chippy in Standish. Now, this was suggested to me, and I'll put his name once I've done the video across the bottom here, and I'll mention early on in the video. It's a popular chippy. I was told it was going to be popular. I was told that there can be queues out the door. The first thing you notice, well, we came in avoiding the motorway. That's beautiful. Countryside's beautiful around here, through nice villages and that Ormskirk way. And pulling up the street here, huge car park. I mean, you can't beat that. Yeah, there must be sort of like, I don't know, room for 20 cars or more. And then there's a bit at the front. Then there's tables or benches and chairs at the front. And inside there's a large range and a big serving area. I could count maybe 5 staff there at this time. And it's busy. The car park's busy. And that's always a good sign, unless there's no other chippy around for about 30 miles, which I don't think is the case. And yeah, the customer service is good and the food looked excellent. So let's get stuck into some of this stuff. Oh, that's for putting on stuff there. Let's see if I can get a bit of sunshine on that. Yeah, that's salt and pepper chicken. Or salt and pepper crispy chicken. I suppose it's something as a snack, and maybe something you can add to a meal, add to your chips and put some curry sauce on. But yeah, it's not too salt and peppery, if you know what I mean. It's not that salty. It's fine. Like I say, it's an addition to something. What we've got here is a pea fritter. I mean, what it tastes like, yeah, I'll find out. But that's the smallest pea fritter I've had to date. Let's give it a go, though. Proof is in the pudding. Proof is in the eating, however you want to say it. It is nice. The peas are very moist in this, but the batter holds it in. Like breaking the crust of like a boiled sweet and getting that soft centre. That's kind of how it is, really. I just wish there was more of it.
Well, they're usually about 150. That was only £1.
That's dessert, this, in here. So that's a little surprise in a minute. We've got a large curry. Give that a try with the spoon first. Very gelatinous, so that's got maybe a cornstarch or corn flour going on in there or something. Got a little bit of a kick coming in there, actually. Let's go with these mushy peas. It's quite nice. Let's go with the fish and chips. We've got Haddock and Chips. I'm going to fold this back. Okay. Open that up that way. I'm just going to try the chips first. Chips are nice. At first glance, they look a little anemic, but they've actually got a crunch to them. Seems wherever we go at the moment, lots of small bits of chips. Not really found, that's a big one. Not really found many chippies yet that serve a whole portion where half of it at least maybe is decent sized chips. Everything seems to be small at the moment. That could be down to the crops, as we're switching crops at this time of the year. So let's cut this in half. They don't do a large or a small, it's a standard haddock. Okay, it's holding a little bit of oil underneath there. It's actually quite tasty. The batter's a bit thick in places. See whether that is the batter. But at the same time, it's a tasty batter. Let's see what it's like with the dip in this curry. Yeah, that goes well. Fabulous place though. On their menu there, it was deep fried apple pies. So this is them. Very much like the McDonald's wrapper. Hot fruit pie. So I'm taking it, it's not their own. Unless they've got these wrappers. So, okay, not to worry. And it does look like it's been deep fried. Let's give it a go. Yeah, that's nice. It's kept its heat, that's for sure. Just like a McDonald's apple pie. I mean, they can heat an old people's home, just one apple pie, for a whole winter. Tell me another one. Yeah, tasty that though. Right, back to the computer. Look at a few varied reviews, write my own. See you there. So yeah, like I say, the better the channel grows, the more we can see, the longer we can stay in places to review more fish and chip shops. So spread the word about the channel, get it out there. I know we're doing okay as it is right now, but let's take it to the next level, and I need your help. 1 star. Only called in as we were going to the bakery next door. That's the thing. There was a bakery right next door, and they're renowned for their pies. Supposed to be, according to many, one of the best pie shops in the area. And Wigan is such a big area, and Standish is in the borough of Wigan. So, and that's saying something for a pie shop. But it was closed when we arrived, because it was a bit too late, it was tea time. Because otherwise I'd like to have tried a couple of pies besides, because you could always have them with your chips, like pie and chips. You'd have had that kind of pie from a bakery that makes them themselves over Hollands or Pucker pies, which are nice, but it's not the same, is it? So anyway, Gents Bakers, or Gents Pies it's called, next door. Chips were edible enough, but £3.50 for a chip balm was excessive for the amount you get. Sorry, I won't be dropping by again. Now then, this breaks down into 2 parts, this review, because I couldn't get it all on the screen. And I'm going to go to the second part because this has been edited after the response from the owner. And it's interesting, it's always interesting to get a response from the owner because it gives you an insight into what they're thinking, feeling, how their business is run. So now I haven't read all of this, only a little bit, and I thought just the first couple of lines, and I thought, oh well, this could be interesting, this. So let's have a go. Okay, I'll try to explain this to you in a very simple way so you can understand why I disagree with your comment. Unfortunately, if the pricing isn't working out correctly, including the main hidden costs, so that's where I got up to with this. So it's going to be interesting for me to read on. Then a small business won't be able to carry on trading. Unfortunately, cost prices on products have risen so much in such a short amount of time, and they are still rising. There are many factors that come into pricing for your chips and curry, and here's what they are. 1. Gas. 2. Electric. 3. Water rates. 4. VAT. So let's explain a bit about VAT. The price of £4.20 you paid for the chips and curry. You see, let me just go back to the other. It's got here, chips were edible enough, but £3.50 for a chip balm was excessive. And we've got chips and curry discussed in this, let's say retort. It's a response by the owner. So anyway, let's carry on. The price of £4.20 you paid for the chips and curry gets charged with 20% VAT, as we have to pay on that sale 84 pence to the HMRC. So in effect, I received £3.36 for supplying you with chips and curry. So this is what it takes to supply you with chips and curry. Firstly, a staff is paid to prepare the sacks of potatoes ready for cooking. He starts working at 3 AM and works until 10 AM. He loads the potato sacks to a tumbler that uses electricity to take off most of the skin. Then he handles each potato, well at least they're cut and prepared there and then. He then handles each potato, removing any black eyes, badness or green bits, which produces a clean white chip. He then fills up massive barrels of water to put them in, which when full gets drained and refilled, which is all billed on a water meter, which has to be paid to the water board. Meanwhile, the curry, along with the gravy
and peas is being cooked on a, again, I mean, maybe they had a different meal here, maybe he's just actually talking about it, but let's just class it as food, okay? Meanwhile, the curry, along with gravy and peas, is being cooked on a gas cooker, typically to around an hour and a half, which a staff is seen to. All those pots then needs to be washed in hot soapy water, used to be heated from a gas boiler. Oh, and lights are on, so we can see using electricity. The range which we cook the potatoes in is turned on at 10:30, so it's ready for opening at 11:30. Whilst on, it's running on gas and electric. The chips cook for about 10 minutes and are then served to you by a staff who gets paid. Chips are put in a biodegradable tray, which we have to use now, other than polystyrene trays that were 4 times cheaper. A ladle of curry sauce goes on, which is now being kept hot in a bain-marie, which is heated by electricity and has to stay on from 9 AM straight until 7 PM. The chips are then wrapped in 2 sheets of white news with salt and vinegar and a wooden fork. All that costs money and doesn't come free to us. If you pay by card, we are then charged by the card machine company on a monthly bill. All hidden costs someone like yourself won't even have considered. 5. Staff wages, corporation tax. This is a tax paid each year on any profit we may have made. So before you make a comment about cost that has the potential to harm a small business, actually think about what I've written before you think it's a cheap meal. Actually, I still think you got yourself a cheap meal, all considered, because if you had to buy it, all fresh, and cook it yourself, at home, and costing it correctly, down to buying the produce, time it takes, cost of gas and electricity and water, and paying yourself a wage, like for like. Enough said. I'm not going to waste any more time on you. Cook it yourself or go somewhere else. And as a response to the owner's response, the actual first review was edited. It says here, edited. After the rude and long-winded reply below, and in brackets, considering they won't be wasting any more time on me, Chip Balm less than a mile away, better chips, nicer service, £2. PS, downgraded due to rude reply that I can't reply to either. Cook it myself when I wanted a treat, really? And the parking's been changed here. Parking originally was plenty of parking. Parking options, free parking lot. That was what the reviewer originally put. Then it's been edited. Parking 15 plus at the side as it's a patch of gravel. Wheelchair accessibility, step at the door. I walk with a stick, so it was a little scary with no handrail to help me. Well, I mean, you can imagine these days some chippies getting so irate about people talking about the prices. Everything's gone up. Everything has gone up. But at the same time, everyone complains about everything that's gone up. We all do. We complain about what we've paid for in the supermarket when we get a shopping, and it's like half the size it used to be for the price, a full shop. And you think, so okay, is the guy justified? Well, he's letting off steam. He's complaining about the prices of everything, I think, there, not just the price of the food. But it's across the board. Everybody's prices have gone up for everything. And it's interesting to see how this shop actually works and how most shops actually work. That's a really interesting response. And that's why I've included it with that 1-star review. Because the shop owner's right in lots of ways. Most ways. But should he have put up such a big response to that person? Well, I don't think he was really necessarily directing it at that person. He was just himself or herself letting off steam, a little bit of steam, and explaining to other people who may read the reviews what actually goes in to preparing a chippy meal. A lot goes into it, and it costs a lot of money, and it's costing more and more and more all the time. So it's still great value when compared to other types of meals, other types of takeaways even. It's still a fantastic price for a great meal. And it's in a lot of ways healthier, you know, depending on what you have. I mean, if you have fish and chips and peas and gravy or curry, it's much healthier than a pizza or a bucket of chicken and a, you know, pile of burgers and fries. It really is. And especially depending on what it's cooked in too. So, yeah, no, I'm glad I actually read that for you. So let's move on. 3-star. Okay food, but very expensive. Won't be going again. I know bills are expensive, but come on, chips, £4? What a joke. Response from the owner. That was a large chips, and we are no more expensive than other chippies in the area. Fair comment, you know. I mean, you can see how he's getting these all the time. And it must be upsetting because, you know, a lot of chippies are bordering on staying open or closing. And there's not a lot they can do about it. 5-star. Cracking chippy with super lovely staff. They also do gluten-free fish, which is so hard to find, just call them in advance. Response from the owner. Thanks, Michael. Mine. 4-star. As you pull up to the Pepper Lane chippy, the first thing you'll notice is the ample parking space surrounding it, along with tables and chairs set up out front. The chippy itself is a substantial standalone building. Upon entering, the staff were cheerful, helpful, polite, and well presented. The serving area is spacious, and during my visit around tea time, it was quite busy, becoming even more so as I completed my review from the back of their car park. The haddock and chips were tasty, though the batter was a bit on the oily side and a little thick and moist in places. The chips were exactly as you would expect from a good chippy, flavourful, light, and slightly crispy on the outside. The special menu above the range featured salt and pepper crispy chicken, which I found to be a bit disappointing for the price. It would have been a better offering with an option for a little sauce or other accompaniment. The pea fritter was enjoyable with a crunchy batter, though it was quite small. However, it was also the cheapest pea fritter I've come across, making it a perfect option for those wanting to try one for the first time or perhaps purchase a couple. The curry sauce was fairly standard, but lacked a little flavour, while the mushy peas were quite pleasant. Overall, Pepper Lane Chippy is a good spot to stop if you're passing through Standish and fancy some good traditional chippy fare. Cooking in vegetable oil, hygiene rating 5, cash or card, fish reviewed, haddock. Oh, I'm exhausted after that. See you on the next one.